We are live.
We are live.
We are live.
Did I say welcome to the main event?
Run that thing right now, you mad?
Oh man.
Behave before you talk about what I'm talking about, yeah?
Disclaimer.
Run that thing back. Nah, man, stay there in your corner, man. Run that thing back, fam. I don't want to hear nothing from you.
We are live, guys. I'm J1 Further, the Cyber Nerds.
Revenue GS.
Sam, Mr. Blitz 10.
And we are here to talk about Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. It's out. You can check out the movie. This is going to be a full spoiler review. Full spoilers. Everything will be spoken about in this discussion, ladies and gentlemen. Now, what you need to discuss with yourself, in fact, you really don't need to discuss, what you need to do is subscribe to the channel, hit the thumbs up, and press the notification bell so you get notified every time we drop a banger. All right. You, man. Wakanda Forever. Ryan Coogler's fourth movie. Get me. The sequel to one of the most anticipated movies in movie history, Black Panther. What are you, man, saying about the movie? Like, where, you know what I'm saying?
If you enjoyed this video, check out our TCN community where you'll get private Discord access to join us in chatting about all things movies and trailers, participate in our debates, and even submit your own requests to which ones we watch. You also get access to our full movies, anime, and series reactions, so don't miss out. The link to join the community will be the pinned comment.
I would say, first and foremost, I like the way they handled Chadwick Boseman's death throughout the movie. I feel like they placed each kind of part as a remembrance to him kind of very well. And just never using him past the parts that he was shot in Black Panther was done really well. So I don't want to ever see man done some kind of CGI remake or anything like that. They just used him in certain parts, not even using his voice, bro. Like, I'm like, they done that and handled it super well. So
No, 1000%, bro.
Appreciate that.
I like, and it felt like every time he was on screen, it was a moment of silence.
yes,
That speaks volumes. Do you know what I'm saying? How what you're saying about handling him well on this movie.
Yeah, man. I feel like, in terms of like handling his passing and him being in a movie, I feel like they did it in such a way where it doesn't take away from the movie at all, and it doesn't feel like it's forced in either. I feel like it's very natural to the story in the movie for the character, but also pays a deep homage to what really happens in real life with Chadwick Boseman as well. And I feel like that is so hard to do, and I feel like at times this kind of situation is almost handled incorrectly in some other circumstances, like bringing up like Star Wars where with Carrie Fisher, them trying to use parts from another movie to keep the character alive, and that like probably a mistake, but I feel like here done very well. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like if someone who doesn't know about Chadwick Boseman passing was to watch this movie, they wouldn't be able to tell that Chadwick Boseman passed away in real life, but they would still feel a deep sorrow for the character of T'Challa in the movie. And I feel like just being on that level, having like the nuance to get that in perfectly, I think is a job on its own as well. Do you get me? So shout out to Ryan Coogler and the man them for like handling that. So I thought that was fire. What else you man want to talk about? You get me? General thoughts on the movie, man. What do you like? Do you know what I'm saying?
Okay, I guess you're looking at my way.
I'm just here.
No, I really liked, one of the things I really liked about this movie is just the way, like, I loved the conflict of past and present, like the new generation, which is a lot of things they've done in this movie that I really like. Is some of the continuations, which wasn't a big thing in the previous movies, but it kind of plays a part here. So, for example, Shuri, if we go back to the last movie, her making fun of her brother's shoes. Yo, what are those? Like, clearly showing like, yo, like, I don't bang with this old school stuff that you're wearing. And do you know what I'm saying? And even her now being like, yo, like, I don't bang with the old tradition stuff. That conflict, and even with Okoye's looking at some of her new designs and be like, yo, what is this stuff, man? Like that whole I love that. I love the old, new, because it's like we've seen that the old generation handled things differently and in the wrong way. The new ones also do the same thing. So there isn't really right or wrong, but there is like a balance that needs to be found between both gens. Do you know what I'm saying? And I really love that, what they've done with this movie.
I feel like the whole movie in general, with any kind of subject matter that they touch on, I feel like it's always a pressing question in regards to the audience. So they always talk about government powers, who would use what kind of weapons, or how would they would use them or manufacture them. Like you said, traditions, that's being questioned by old gen, new gen. They're also touching on how, what's the other thing I'm thinking of as well? It's like, there's like a lot of questions up there, and it's always fascinating how the characters in these arcs kind of tackle them. So I thought that was like, for me, one of the best parts about this whole entire movie.
Yeah, I think one of the best parts for me is probably the development in characters, where we've gone from the first movie to the second movie, because I feel like everyone's drastically in a different position, and there's a little time jump in it as well, which makes some things easier to digest. Like, so obviously, T'Challa's passed away, then they give you a year after that, so you're a year into the grieving process for that, for the drama that comes, obviously, you get me? And I like the fact that there's outside forces that set Wakanda against Tao Khan. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it is somewhat, well, Ironheart has built a machine that can sense vibranium, and the Americans get it, they find new vibranium, and now it's like, oh, Atlantis, I'm going to call them Atlantis, you man, you get me? Atlantis is like, oh, no, you man better stop. They're trying to get together with Wakanda. I love that. Do you know what I'm saying? That it came from a place of, yo, we need to work together because we're against these, man. And then even, like you're saying, going into the courtroom and seeing how the world power, we already know what the world powers are going to do if they had vibranium. But I love the way that Wakanda exposed these, man, for like, yo, these lot are even trying to steal it already. Look at this. Do you know what I'm saying? So I love that. Also, the performances. I felt like, for me, Angela Bassett was like probably the standout for me in the whole movie. I think she really has a super legit energy in terms of like just dealing with like the grief of losing her son, her husband, and then, you know, pretty much her city, and then even her getting taken out in the movie as well. Like, I thought it was like super emotional, and it just, like, everything in the movie was kind of like piling on to like, it was getting deeper, and you know what I'm saying? When you thought, like, I was like, bruv, how are we gonna get past T'Challa passing in the movie? And then they're like, yo, it's going down here as well. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it gets just more deeper and deeper and emotional, and it's a lot about loss, bro. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, the whole thing's about loss, man.
Just to add to the Angela Bassett thing, give this woman an Oscar, bro, because that whole part in the throne when she's going off our Okoye,
yeah,
bro, absolutely shelled in her. So yeah, give this woman an Oscar, bro.
Yeah, she went stupid hard, fam. Do you know what? Yeah, I'm halfway through the movie, and I'm like, why did they not just? She should be Storm. I would really like Storm was just flowing through my mind, and I in my, because bro, she's so like, she's got such a presence in the movie, and it's just, and I'm like, she was like this in the first movie, but here it's like she's center stage and she's running Wakanda. So yeah, man, I loved everything about it, and it's probably just the hair in it as well. You get me? Because she had the silver fox thing going on. You get me? So I was here for that. But yeah, man, loved her in the movie as well. You get me?
I'm gonna say like Namor for me, very good villain. Everyone's always saying anti-hero, but it's like the way they kind of set him up in this, like, man's playing like a villain. It's always funny as well, because if you just switch the sides,
it's exactly the same.
It's the same.
Yeah, it's the same, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So it is kind of mad, but I feel like they did a pretty good job with him. His introduction, his like character. Like, I feel like he's not going to be a forgettable villain. One, because
he's not a villain.
Yeah,
because they're not going to use him as a villain.
But yeah, like, I feel like his introduction here is actually pretty legit.
Yeah, man. I feel like in terms of like origin stories for new characters, like, this is the best one we've seen in a long time from Marvel. I'm trying to think of a new character that they've introduced, but like, through the whole of Phase 4, all of the new characters they've introduced, I'm gonna say, are super forgettable. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, and I'm talking about even characters like Thor's daughter, or like all these little people, they've just been dead. Namor comes through tough, and I feel like he comes through tough because there's a reason why man's actually here. Like, do you know what I'm saying? A good, legit reason, and he brings an energy and a presence, and I love that how much into his mythology they go, bruv, because it's needed, and especially needed when you're dealing with a movie like Black Panther, where the first movie's built heavily on mythology. This movie's built heavily on the traditions of that mythology, and now we're learning about another nation's traditions and mythology as well. You get me? So I love the way that they kind of like brought them together, and I feel like he really embodies it. Do you know what I'm saying, bruv? It's like, it's mad because when he's on screen, it's like he is, I don't know how to put it, it's like he's intimidating, but he's not scary, but he's scary as well. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, there's times when he's talking where he goes from, I'm talking very cool right now, to I will shut this shit down instantly. Do you know what I'm saying? And I love that he's like that, and even why they explain why he's like that as well. You get me?
There's definitely that care of, yo, all my life this is what I was raised for. I'm not on what everybody else, but I've been preparing for this day, so I'm prepared, and I'm willing to do what I need to do for my people, because that's all my life has been about. This is how I actually got to be Namor. Do you know what I'm saying? And one of the things I really love about this movie, they didn't do a Batman, which is something that we was concerned on the trailers, them doing a Batman v Superman. The whole thing was just about these two nations coming together. Even though there was like one little thing that triggered, which is the machine, it wasn't other forces pulling the strings or anything like that. It's just two nations who will see what actually equal, just having it out. From the beginning to the end of the movie, I love that fact they did that with this movie.
Yeah, that was definitely tough. I mean, what other, have you guys got other characters that stood out? I feel like Letitia Wright, I think, for me, it's tough because I feel like she had so much to do in this movie. Like you're going from a supporting character in the last movie to the face of a franchise. You know what I'm saying? The main star of the movie, and you got to take up the mantle of Black Panther and all of this other stuff. And I feel like she handled it pretty well. Like, I think for me, what touched me the most about her was like her emotional scenes. Her having to deal with the passing of T'Challa in it, and then having to deal with the passing of her mum in it, I feel like were where I connected with the character the most in terms of like, she just delivered. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you could feel the emotions through her. Do you know what I'm saying? So, and I feel like it's mad because it's like, because Chadwick really passed, you're like, she's actually really, and you know what I'm saying? It flows through the whole cast. Like, everyone's actually feeling that pain, and the pain is translated through the movie. Do you know? It's an emotional thing, fam.
Yeah,
so it's even tough to talk about her performance of it. Because it's like, bro.
It's tough. And this is where, with Black Panther, there was always that care to deliver the first black superhero because of, it embodies life itself. Do you know what I'm saying? So when you first delivered that, the movie that rippled throughout the world, even touching certain parts of the world where black people in movies itself wasn't represented well, and then they get introduced to Black Panther, and they get re-educated that not all black people move this way, it's not about drugs and stuff like that. So when now a tragedy happens like that in this movie, it's going to be now more than just representation. It's going to be about, the memory, doing the best we can to deliver this, to serve the memory of the guy who was the forefront, which was Chadwick Boseman. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's going to be for his memory. It's going to be for his family, the people that care for. It's going to be for us as well, sitting on this sofa.
100%.
Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like we said at the beginning, it was handled well.
Yeah, I think he did like a super sick job. Being like you said, like just more of won't say adult, but more of a grown series, especially that the stuff she had to handle, because obviously they always try and say she's in conflict with tradition, with either being
What, the tech
one
stuff?
one at vengeance or one at being honourable.
Yeah.
But then I feel like the movie itself doesn't tackle that enough, because they keep mentioning it. Oh, like you're burying yourself in your technology. You don't want to think about it, because I think she says it in one line that if I don't do anything and I do think about it way too much, I want to burn the world down.
Right.
But I don't want to see it translated almost all the time that it is constantly on the mind.
That she's on the edge.
Yeah.
And you never really get that vibe.
That's
that
it.
She's on the edge.
Yeah. Because it's almost like she doesn't grieve. So her way of grieving is when she's burying something in her work. But there's times in the movie where she's not in her work. So it's almost like that's really bleeding out.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really do that. I'm like, okay, that's kind of, I feel like they missed out on that part. But then the whole part about where she then goes and becomes the Black Panther, she's lost her mum and then she wants to become out vengeance. It then becomes very weird towards the end when then she's like, let me take the honourable route. Where did that come from?
Yeah, see, and I think in terms of like her character's arc, that is probably the weakest part. And this is what I'm saying. Like, I feel like the emotional part's connected with man, but when they got onto the her picking vengeance or being honourable or just her having that conflict, it really, like, it just didn't vibe with me. It didn't really make sense. Like, and it's mad because I really wanted Killmonger to show up in the movie, and he did. Do you know what I'm saying? But I feel like what they did to get him in there was kind of, I don't want to say rot. It's just like it put Shuri's character in a weird position. Do you know what I'm saying? And then I feel like that doesn't really get resolved in a manner that is consistent with what we've seen in Black Panther previously. And what I mean by that, for anyone who's like lost at what I'm saying, is like they showed before that if you use the purple herb, that you go to the ancestral plane. And then they obviously showed in this that there is more than just a purple herb. There's a blue herb of like the plant that was grown in water from the same meteor that provided vibranium. So it's a bit different. And this is also the herb that gave the Atlanteans the power to live in water. Get me? So they make a variant of that, which is 98% successful. She takes it and it makes her see Killmonger. Killmonger explains to her that she sees him because that's who she chose. And I don't like that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, even though in the past movies, they never explain why the person is picked, but at the same time, they explain it. My understanding of is it shows you your lineage. So even when T'Challa goes to the ancestral plane and his dad comes and talks to him, bear in mind, the tree was there with all of the Black Panthers before T'Challa that I'm going to say are in his bloodline. And this is why they talk about Bassett, because he was the first one as well. He comes down off the tree and talks to man. Whereas in Killmonger's lineage, his lineage doesn't go past his dad. So he only appears to, you know what I'm saying, to Killmonger. So then with with Shuri seeing Killmonger and they saying it's her choice, I didn't vibe with that whole situation and what it led to kind of later on.
I felt they should have definitely linked that better, especially with the past, because like I said before, they've done some things that wasn't solid in the last movie, but you can slip in and then it makes understand. By that I mean, for example, in the first movie when they believe that T'Challa is dead and she's going nuts. See, that rage should have leaked because she's got that memory of my man murking her brother. You see that? Now we're linking. Now we can resonate why she's seen, man. Or even him, like, leaking into hurting because is of rage, is of revenge.
I think there's more ways they could have made that deeper as well, especially when you're dealing with the Okoye character. One thing that I did like is when Angela Bassett is blacking on Okoye, I thought that was legit because that never had been addressed, that Okoye stood by Killmonger after, you know what I'm saying, T'Challa, after Killmonger took the throne.
Wasn't it? That's what it was.
In this movie it is. By the Queen.
In the previous one, they just said that whoever is the...
No, yeah, they said... Bruv, That's fine as a line.
Mm.
But then as an individual, and this is what the Queen brings up,
Mm.
bruv, I hear your duty,
Mm-hmm.
but this is our king.
Mm.
Like, and I feel like she's not questioning her tradition. She's questioning her as an individual.
Mm-hmm.
Like, bruv,
Especially towards something that went towards both her children.
Exactly. And so I'm thinking that in this movie, what they should have had was Shuri also have negative energy for Okoye and be like, yo, if it worked, you know what I'm saying? Like, you helped my man. Like, they should have really blackballed Okoye, really. And I know it's hard to do because, like, we love the character, but I feel like that should have been, if that sacrifice would have been there, that would have been a good opportunity to show her rage. Now, in it, Shuri's given new weapons to one of the new who's the actress, Michelle Cole.
She
Enka.
Yeah. So she's given her new tech. Now, what I would have done is I've given her the new tech and been like, oh, I'm giving this to you because I don't bang with Okoye no more. I'm trying to make you the new general because I don't trust Okoye. Okoye's only loyal to the throne. Do you get what I'm saying? Like that, then we would have seen little bits of hate and little bits of anger from Shuri flaring up. And it would have been directed there. And then through the passing of her mum, then it's like, nah, I'm directing it at Namor. You get me? Like that.
Even that as well, like, when she does have the purple herb, like, throughout the whole movie, I feel like Shuri should have conflict regardless anyway, especially as she's like the main person.
100%.
So when she does go into the ancestral plane, and let's say she's seen her lineage, if she's seen Killmonger, she's definitely be seeing her mum as well, which I think is like a cheat because that conflict should have been there between the two. One's vengeance, one is honor. And they're just going to have that conversation, and then she's going to have to choose, coming out of that, how she's going to go forward dealing with her nation, Namor, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
like,
and
that wasn't even there. I'm like, why not? Why is it just Killmonger? Well, because we don't expect man to show up.
Even for me, even the dad, even if her father showed up, bro, because we never got any kind of interaction between Shuri and her dad. Do you know what I'm saying? And having him come in then and been like, this is what I told your brother. And do you know, so she's spoken to Killmonger saying whatever, but then she's also talking to her dad, and the dad is giving her knowledge that she gave to her brother, and that pulls her back. I think that would have been better than the way they kind of handled it with the mum having, like, they flash up. It's like a flashback of mum randomly when we need insert motivation to stay good. Boom, it's there, and we've never done that before in this movie, and I just didn't like the way they did that here. But
and that it's magic because you guys just mentioned what mom, Killmonger, dad, but another thing that would have helped her with a decision in the third act would be also her conversations with M'Baku, because M'Baku reveals to her that your brother told me to be your counselor. Do you know what I'm saying? So all these things relates back to her family, that goodness, that side of royalty, all these things that you're supposed to be doing. So even through that, because he says what he says to her, but then she's not listening. And she's like, no, we're going to war. That's that. She busts this case. You see how we could all knitted everything together and it comes full circle on the third act. But all these things not being tied up properly leads to the third act being where it is. Do you know what I'm saying? And these flashbacks that make no sense. Do you know what I'm saying? There's no tie, no nothing. But speaking of M'Baku as well, I liked how they just gave him that, because we spoke about like how everybody's in different position and how the death of T'Challa has changed everyone. I liked how he's still M'Baku, he's still busting the jokes, he's still saying the things that he does, but you can see that man now is on a different place as well. And that whole conversation with him and Shuri was good, but we should have had more of that coming from him being that guy. Also because the end credits would have had more power to that.
Yeah, like, and it's funny because where M'Baku ends in the movie, I think is good, but his journey, even though I like seeing him more and more and more, I don't like what they was doing to him. Like, I don't like that, my man comes into the beef with Namor and it's getting brushed to the side. I don't like how Shuri is brushing man off as well. Like, yo, shut up, man. Do what I'm saying. And it's like, yo, your brother didn't even treat man like that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, do you know what I'm saying, bro?
Like, you're that man in your life.
Exactly, bro. Like, when your brother was dying, and this is the man that saved,
gave the thing,
bro. You lot were on your knees begging to my man, and my man was, and you can't brush man like that. There's no situation where you can then just flip on man like that. And I feel like they show that by even Ross's character in the movie. His whole life, everything he says in the movie is, I owe these lot my life. I owe these lot my life. But then Shuri's, you know what I'm saying? Like, the same guy, the same energy that... And M'Baku pretty much saved you, your mum, and your brother. Do you know what I'm saying? And helped you, man, get back into power.
Yeah, if it wasn't for
bro,
him,
like you, man,
man,
owe your whole lineage that you, man, are still running Wakanda to man. And then, like, he's getting disrespected like that. So, really just didn't like the energy that the characters in the movie were showing him. Do you know what I'm saying? Even though, like I said, at the end, he's challenging for King. So, fingers crossed he gets it. But they've diminished man so much. If he wins it...
Well, that's what I'm confused about, because it's like, he always has that energy regardless. So when Shuri comes to him and goes, everything that existed with her is now gone. So now that I want to do this, and you're going to help me, like, do it. And he actually says nothing. I'm like, eh? That doesn't seem like M'Baku, because he always has something to say.
Yeah, but...
Always. So for me, that's even to say something. Anything. At least be like, we'll do it this way. Or I'm not doing it fully. Something.
Nah,
I
feel like at this point in the timeline, bro, I totally understand what you're saying, but I feel like in this point in the timeline, you can't say no.
That's what I'm saying.
He can't. Not like,
I say so, but I'm like, all right, if you want to keep, I'm not a part of that.
Yeah.
I'll be a part of your the war for whatever, but
he has no
I'm
choice
not
because
taking
they're coming through
your
him as well
way.
at the end.
That's what I'm saying. He has. I just feel like
they're part of Wakanda, bro.
Yeah, I feel like the way Shuri's energy was, he kind of just had to go with it, bruv. Like,
I know you got to be in the arm wrestle before in it, so man can't be like,
there's a bit of inconsistency as well with that, because even when they first go into the throne room, and M'Baku comes, it's like, yo, you man let these lot sit through your defense and stuff like that. No one's saying nothing to him, man. Because why? Because he's got that status.
That man showed up to save them, man.
Exactly.
In the war for, you know what I'm saying? In the war. Get me? So
and the mama even asked him as well, M'Baku, what would you do? Bro, like...
Yeah, bro, Shuri's moving mad, bro. Shuri's moving mad, bro.
Flip is crazy, bro.
Shuri's moving... Yeah, well, yeah, Shuri's, like, turn is just, boom, instant and, like, bro.
So... But yeah, M'Baku, like, he's still legit to me, to be honest.
100%.
Super legit,
100%. I'm trying to think of Ironheart. Obviously, Ironheart's in the movie. I thought she was solid in the movie. I liked her comedy. I liked her comedy most of all. Her and M'Baku, I feel like, in terms of comedy, led the way. I thought it was super legit. But I feel like at a point, it's just like they kind of waste her character. Like, they introduce her very nicely, but then by the end, it's just like, she's in the back. No one really cares. Like, you're not really focusing on her or anything like that. So I want to see more of her in something that's kind of dedicated to that character and, like, really lets that character kind of breathe in it, because I feel like there's parts of her situation that get rushed, like the suit. Like, I don't even want to get into it.
The suit was just painting,
bruv. Like,
because it's funny, because like even that bit when they showed the spray, I'm like, what are we spray painting in red
for me
in Wakanda?
For me, it's like, she's got an Iron Man suit. Why has she got an Iron Man suit?
Bro,
why has she built this thing around Iron Man? Why is it like that? Now, someone might be like, it's in the comics. Shut up. But firstly, I'm talking to them, not you, bro.
I know.
Yeah. No, he was queuing up. You get me? But the thing about it is, for me, it's like, when Shuri walks into her dorm room, she instantly knows who Shuri is, what Shuri's done, boom, boom, boom. So I'm going to say maybe she knows about all the best scientists in the world. If she knows about all the best scientists in the world, yeah, she's not going to idolize Tony Stark. Do you get what I'm saying? Think about it. Even if she goes MIT, bro, I don't care. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't care what you, like, you know what I'm saying? Because they tried to put these little things in here to lean towards Tony. But I feel like that shouldn't have been the case. And I feel like here was an opportunity for you to almost, not even fully retcon, but just add some black paint to iron her. Do you know what I'm saying? Because when her suit shows up at the end, if the suit is the exact same suit in the design of an Iron Man suit, because that's what she knows how to build from looking on YouTube videos, but it's black because she's made it in Wakanda, she's black, she loves the Wakandan people. Like, bruv, and they're missing a Black Panther. And the suit's got to stay in Wakanda anyway. So I didn't really, you know what I'm saying? I felt like they were just throwing her in there just to be like, oh, we got a new black character, the black movie's coming, boom, bang, she's in there.
You know, also made it kind of weird in my eyes, like that hot rod red in this movie. Like it didn't feel right with my eyes with the color palette. You know what I'm saying? Because everything is pretty much purple bluish, and then you just got this like rod red just flying about. Like it was a bit weird to me.
I think even like for me, it's like in terms of just wanting to survive Tony Stark. I don't believe this is the character to do it. Like she shouldn't be the one surviving Tony Stark, bruv. Like you've got Pepper and you've got his daughter Dawn.
Peter Parker as well.
Bruv. You get me. You got them man to do it, bruv. She doesn't have to do it, and I know in the comics, and I know, but no is the answer. Like she can still have all the same sensibilities, bruv, but you can just tie her new to something else, bruv, to the Black Panther, bruv. I think we was talking about the outreach programs that they had set up in the last movie that obviously they wasn't delivering in this movie and what they addressed. But why is she at MIT? Why isn't she not at one of those schools? Why is she not coming up under that? Why is the tech that she's using not from Wakanda already, bruv? And I know you man set up the story, her dad and the mechanic. You could have weaved that into that so easily, bruv. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying make her Wakandan. She's Wakandan anyway. Do you know what I'm saying? But I feel like the whole Tony Stark part of this, like that they're trying to loom over Wakanda, bruv. Get it out of there, bruv.
You know what? Even if they wanted to make her team Tony Stark, she could have been the fish that slipped through the outreach program, and she feels some type of way. It was like, oh, you man didn't want to take me in, and I go to MIT, and this is where I gravitate more to Tony Stark because maybe I didn't get into the program.
Or even when it's like in Iron Man 2, he's doing in Civil War, he goes to MIT and grants all of their funding for all of their programs. Yep. Then you have to have the line in this movie that she was one of the students that got the grant, and that's why she's inspired by Iron Man, and that's why boom, boom, boom.
She won't be old enough.
But that's their issue.
That's not, bruv.
He could.
Yeah, but
let's say Pepper has survived the program. So the program's happening every year. Every year we donate this much to the Tony Stark Foundation. Bruv, they got to do something.
But that's what I'm saying. Like for me, I'm not saying she's a bad character in the movie. I just feel like
they've done her wrong.
Yeah, her introduction is kind of weird, especially when you're introducing Namor, who feels very much fleshed out. Then you got Ironheart in it. Like I said, if you don't read the comic books, this is your first introduction to the character.
It's gonna seem mad.
It does seem very, very mad. And then we're saying this when they've redone characters. So the whole comic book thing, shut your mouth with that because they do it. Yeah, they do it. Whether you like it or not, they do it. Yeah. So in this movie, he just throws down like, "Oh, my dad gave me tools at the age of 3 and I built something." Like, don't do that as a throwaway line. You got to show man that. Now she's building an Iron Man suit. For where? Like, where's the inspiration between Riri and Tony Stark? They don't show that anywhere. No mention of nothing. All of a sudden, she's just building an Iron Man suit because she can. All right, cool, whatever. Now she goes to Wakanda, and like you guys are saying as well, she builds the same thing again when she's in Wakanda. She's the one saying, "Oh, you guys ain't got a Black Panther one. I need rescuing." Why is she then inspired? I'm gonna be that.
I'm gonna be the solution.
That thing that's missing. Yeah, so why not make it Black Panther inspired somehow? Even though it's going to be robotic, why make it like? For me, it's so weird because now she's gonna end up somewhere else. But it's like, where's the cross between now you're explaining she likes Iron Man, she's been inspired by this, when this
is her introduction, and we ain't got none of that here. Like we're just like who said genius girl. Like
do you know what? Sorry, do you know what that takes me to? Yeah, it just takes me like, yo, if this wasn't supposed to be an introduction, like, or the way you wanted to do it, bruv, why didn't you just give a 6 episode on Disney Plus?
Bro,
that would have been dead as well. Bro, it would have been so dead. I'm telling you right now.
I mean, if
we're getting She-Hulk
if it's
and
handled
Hawkeye, bro,
if it's handled by Ryan Coogler's team,
which is not going to be. Let's be honest.
We're talking about ifs now because it never happened. Yeah, we're talking about like if this is how you man wanted to handle her and just give her the Tony Stark stuff, bro.
Facts.
You could have given us 6 episodes. These man,
thing, actually, wouldn't it? When you think you said if it's handled by Ryan Coogler's team, we've got it here.
Bro, like
I'm
just trying to put things together where it would make more sense to people to absorb this character. Do you know what I'm saying?
Ding.
For me, the introduction.
That was a good point, bro.
Bro, for me, the introduction is mad because we got Black Panther and Civil War. People who've been introducing for the first time. We just be like, man's Black Panther. He said barely any minimum, and all he was his mission because his dad died. When he got Spider-Man, obviously everyone knows Spider-Man, but his introduction as well
in Civil War. Free Soul Brothers, bruv.
I'm just laying the facts.
Bruv, do it. I'm adding context, bruv.
I'm just laying the facts. Spider-Man as well. His introduction, even though it's not fully fleshed out, they only said 2 things, but they show the things why this said person
I am
here.
inspired by Tony Stark. I did this. I've been trying to get onto his foundation.
Thank you.
I've been bruv.
But here, it's like she's just everything, everywhere, all at once today. I'm like,
it doesn't have to be like that.
No. And I'm like, that's a very bad introduction. I'm not saying that she did a very good job with her comedy.
Yeah,
she's
good. Her acting in it's good. It's the arc.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
The arc for me is very weird. And then the third act of all these mechas, bro. Marvel, like, I know She-Hulk said it. Everything always ends the same, but yeah, you guys have got to stop. It ruined Shang-Chi.
That mecha was hurting my eyes, man.
It's ruined this movie as well. Like that whole mecha.
It looked out of place to me. It looked out of place.
Like, free them for Wakanda. These man have got they make Black Panthers on the regular, and then they're making this man mechas, bro. I thought anime was dead.
You gotta talk to them, man.
Boy.
You gotta talk to them, man. I think for me, like the third act, it's not even. I feel like everything after Killmonger shows up, I feel like I was just like, it was taking me a bit out of it. Do you know what I'm saying? I feel like all the inconsistencies were kind of like piling up. Even though it's like what you was talking about earlier on, the resolution of it is good. Like they don't include a third party. It is resolved through combat and discussion, and it leaves us in a good place moving forward. But the whole beefing scene, like there's a big ship battle that is. It's like what you man. I think it's pretty much terrible. Like I didn't like that part at all. I think the action in this movie is pretty bad. Do you know what I'm saying? Like there's only a couple times where you're like, oh, that's sick, bruv. Like there was a couple times where I think it's on the ship when they show Shuri moving along the side that was mad there. And I feel like there was parts when Namor attacks Wakanda. There's a part where he's doing like an attack, like a boom, 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 boom. And it's like, I'm going to let you off. 50% of it is fire. Mm-hmm. But then the other 50%...
It's a bit mad. Because,
a bit?
Yeah, a bit. Because like, it was so weird, yeah. I didn't clock this the first time I saw it, but the second time round, like Namor dodges a shot from like Ironheart. Without looking, I was like, oh yeah. Man's got eyes like that. Then they go into the sky... And all of a sudden, the same shot gets him. I was like, oh, okay, that's a bit mad. So I was like, yeah, it's like bare inconsistency sometimes, which it's like sometimes it just feels like for story's sake to happen. I feel like, like you're saying, the third act, they're just like,
we gotta get this. Yeah, we gotta get this. We gotta get this in. And it's mad because it's like for me, for a movie that is this long, I'm like, I came out and I was like, oh, I think it needs to be longer because. There's so many things that are unfleshed out, but then you came with the point that
just take stuff out.
Yeah, like there's bare stuff in it that just shouldn't be, and it should be replaced with the stuff I'm probably wanting them to add to it. Do you get what I'm saying? Because it's like the length, like I never felt like it was long,
Nope.
but I felt like there's so much that got chopped out or not here. It doesn't make sense to me. Do you get what I'm saying, bruv? Like, because if this movie had to be 3 hours, just make it 3 hours, bruv. If it's got to be that kind of epic, but I think with that kind of stuff, when it comes to the war and the combat scenes, Marvel needs to start taking a bit more pride in that situation. Like, in terms of, like, I think back, because this made, the beef on the ship made me think of two things. It made me think of the beef in Aquaman, where Ocean Master and Aquaman are fighting on the ship, only because they're fighting on the ship.
Yeah.
And that whole thing is calm. It's calm. It's calm. And the other one was, oh my, don't forget it now. There's another scene.
Not in the war?
Oh, no, man.
The desert?
There's another... Lord of the Rings. That's what I'm talking about. Lord of the Rings. In Lord of the Rings, the movies, like, when the 5 armies are fighting and stuff, like, bruv, them man take pride in those situations. Yeah, bruv. They take pride in those situations. Even the Dark Knight Rises, fam. Oh, we're going to get 400 man, and we're really going to make them run into each other, and we're going to make them fight. Like, bruv, like, I think you, man, need to start, especially if you're going to do it every third act. You're going to have to start taking more pride in these scenes, because it was like, they're fighting on a ship, and it's like, you can't really tell what's going on, but then they cut in, and then it's 80% Atlanteans, and 10 Wakandans, and it's like, bruv, how did we even get here, bruv? I thought these men had best, like, it's just, that kind of stuff there, I feel like it's getting glossed over too much.
Yeah,
it's kind of funny you say that, because it's like, at one point, they were showing them winning, like, almost every single battle that the previous people have lost, they started winning.
Yeah.
But it's like, wouldn't you use, like you say, in the other kind of like Lord of the Rings or the other one, there's like another movie where someone's looking around and they're actually losing.
Yes.
So it's like, how did we get from 50-50 to like 80-20?
Yeah.
And they don't show it. It's almost like, oh, we're winning, we're the heroes. And then suddenly it's like, we're on the edge. Like, what's going to happen now? I'm like, how do we get here?
I think they tried to, because earlier on, Namor said, yo, we outnumber you guys. I think that line was to explain that part.
Do you know what I don't like about that as well? Is, bruv, you're Namor, yeah? You just got beat by Shuri. You come back. Your army has got the last 10 of them, man, on the edge. Namor, bruv, he's just shown he's a savage. I know he might be a man of his word, but I'm kicking Shuri off the edge and I'm like, yo, kill them, man. Bruv, he'd won. Yeah, bruv, he's coming back and seeing his army had won. And he's like, no. And then, bruv, I like his logic in terms he's playing the long game. When he's explaining it to his general or his wifey, I don't know who she is. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, look, when these men are at war with the world, they're going to need us and then we're going to be the strongest power. I hear that. But at the same time, you could have just clapped them right there, taken over their land, then you could have been on land and in water, and you are the strongest power.
It's quite a Black Panther lose on his own movie, can we?
This is a Black Panther movie. I thought it was a Wakanda Forever movie.
To be honest, I one of the things I probably thought was like this being 50-50 kind of thing, being like, this is pointless. It's going to keep going on and on, especially when Baku said, yo, even if you go to war and you win, this thing's going to go forever. Yeah. So this is another thing that, yo, come back to these things, close it. Do you know what I'm saying? Close all these things to make it neater, make it tighter. Because then it will be like, oh, no one kneels. There's not that conversation where the general is pretty much shitting on a king, talking about, yo, you kneeled. Bro, you weren't even there to know man kneeled. Like, you didn't even, do you know what I'm saying? So even these things should have been done properly. And it should have come to the resolution of like, yo, we're just going to keep going this forever and ever and ever.
Bruv, the thing, there's even now that we're deep in it more, bruv, Shuri does the same, even worse than what T'Challa does. T'Challa witnesses his father die, and then doesn't bring the man to justice, and then them man are all onto him, right?
Right.
She watches her mum die, and then them man turn back as pals, bro.
We're cool. We're cool. Do you know what I'm saying?
Even if it's honourable to not kill, man, like, them two...
Someone on his side should have then died as well to be like, yo, like, we've lost someone important. You've lost someone important. Let's squash this.
We should have narrowed it out like, yo, why are we killing each other?
Yeah.
Let's go and war against these, man. Like, so,
Even the people themselves acknowledging that, because even with Okoye and one of the generals, they beef at the beginning and then they beef also towards the end.
Yeah.
Bruv, she should have never beat man, bro. Firstly, you can't even kill him because you've established that, yo, I've shanked these men, they were supposed to die, they never died. So how does they not call you just because you threw in a new suit? Now you've got the better edge on the man.
And that's the thing. I feel like they, like with the Okoye character, they was like, nah, man, we've got to make sure she's good. We've got to make sure she's good. And I feel like it hurts the movie because if they villainized her more and even killed her at the end, or if she, like at the end, if she died in that battle fighting that warrior as part of the thing, it would have been like, raw. The same woman who stood by her country in the first movie died for her country in the second movie after being banished by the Queen and the new Black Panther. Bruv, honourable. What was she crying about?
Let me die
like a warrior.
Yo,
Bruv, don't have those
circle,
movies. Don't have them God of War gladiator lines in a movie if you're not gonna deliver on the promise of that, bruv. Do you know what I'm saying? Because she's begging for it, fam.
Well, sorry.
No, that's cool.
Another thing, like, yeah, I just remembered. Someone explained to me. So Shuri gets shanked at the end.
Yes.
What, the suit keeps her alive?
No,
or is it the nanobots?
After she pulled off it started making a weird noise, didn't it?
I thought that was just the suit.
Yeah, healing up. Right? That's what I thought.
I was confused by it.
I was with you. I'm with you. I felt like after she pulled herself off of it, the suit starts making bad noise, and I'm like, okay, the suit's repairing. Right. But at the same time, these men have got the Okoye beads that stop.
Usually they put
my
the
man,
beads.
yeah. But because she's got the suit on, I imagined
She
the suit just did it automatically.
Right.
Yeah.
But then wouldn't it be the same suit that would have saved Killmonger then? Even then, the suit shouldn't have got pierced in the first place, no? Unless that was
Vibranium.
Okay, cool.
It was vibranium that shanked her.
Then yeah, she should unless she did use a bead afterwards, it didn't show. I was like, how is she standing?
Yeah. No, I just thought it was the suit because you could hear all these weird noises coming. I was just like, all right, you man, cool. I'm just gonna let you man.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel like this could have been a two-parter, but I'm like, would they have given that to a movie like this though? Like,
I think it should have done it.
Yeah,
I think they definitely should have done it.
I feel like if it's not Avengers scale level, whatever, it's like, oh, why
it could have been. It could have been.
That's what I'm saying.
This could have been like civil. You see how they did Civil War?
Yeah.
It could have been like this, but this being a real Civil War, which is actually bigger, which you're now splitting into Namor's part of a movie and then the Wakanda part of the movie. Do you know what I'm saying? And then legitly having these men go at it, bro.
So I feel like probably much more was short. Like you're saying, they had to condense it to how much the runtime was now. And then I'm like, let's cut out most of it, and then maybe, like you said, do a whole other movie. But yeah, I feel like there was so much they had to unpack. There's like,
yeah, but like we was even saying at the beginning, it's just this movie with the whole Chadwick Boseman situation. It is a huge undertaking, fam. And even for them to do, you know what I'm saying? Get it written, like bear in mind COVID, written, produced, done, deal with the tragedy, and still hit 2022 when the first movie came out 2018, bruv. You know what I'm saying? They winning. Bruv, they winning, bruv. They winning. So it's a bit mad, but yeah, man. Like, what are you, man? Like, the general thoughts on the movie? Like, final thoughts? Have you, man, got more? Like, where we at?
One last thing for me, I genuinely missed the whole Black Panther feeling, the jokes, the things that, you know what I'm saying, that makes man bust in cinema. Do you know what I'm saying? That we got from the first movie. And I feel like this is the only movie that's done it. And I absolutely missed it. Like, even the music banged, like everything that's from Wakanda Black Panther movie that man got for the first time, that excitement, that like, you know, the whole the whole slavery jokes and stuff like that, bruv. It's not like until you get it again in a new movie that you're like, oh yeah, this is your thing. Do you know what I'm saying? I absolutely loved it. Another thing is, I walked out of cinema thinking, is there gonna be a director's cut? Simply because
Marvel don't do direct. Marvel's never done a director's cut in their life.
Bruv.
Marvel don't even believe in directors, fam.
Things that got, do you know what I'm saying? That felt like They're chopped off. That's what I'm saying. So I'm just putting it out in the universe.
You better put
Ryan Coogler.
No, you put it out as the Chadwick Boseman cut. You got to say it like that.
Okay.
Then Marvel might listen. Because if you say the director's cut, they definitely ain't gonna listen. Bruv.
Yeah.
The Chadwick Boseman cut. We need it.
There you go.
4-hour movie. Drop it on the Blu-ray. Put it on Disney Plus, please. Thank you. Appreciate you.
You said it.
Coined here. Yeah. You feel me? And you, man, when you get it, you're welcome. What you got, Sam?
Yeah, the comedy does actually hit. Like everyone that has cues of any kind of fun, like even Okoye, bro, like saying, "Hey, small girl," like all that kind of stuff. And I was like, all that stuff's hilarious. So yeah, like the comedy, like definitely hits. It's just a perfect balance of just like everything. Like it's just an emotional movie. It's got jokes. It's very serious. It tackles a lot of questions, cultures,
social narratives.
Like I don't know how, but they hit all those kind of things on the head. It's just that, like I said, some things that need to be fleshed out, unfortunately, wasn't. And it's just a Marvel third act, man. It's like they got that freaking checkbox.
That's what I was gonna say. And it's I was gonna say the Marvel aspects of the movie are the kind of the things that let this one down, and all of the other stuff is what makes it probably the best movie in Phase 4. Do you know what I'm saying? Because it's like what you're saying to the whole Black Panther energy, it is there on point. But then when we're starting talking about the Marvel checkboxes, those checkboxes are rattling what's going on over here. So I feel like, yeah, man, it's an amalgamation of both. And get me, we're here, man. If we're talking about star ratings, what are you, man, giving it?
For me, it's a solid 3.5.
Do you know what? It's true. It is a 3.5.
But you're giving it a 4 because... No, I'm with Raven. I'm with Raven, Sam. Because I'm with Raven right now. I knew I could read his mind, you know. It's about to die.
Bro, it's you know what's mad, yeah?
I know, Sam. We've been doing this for too long. Go on.
It's funny because in the movies, I'm at 4. Then I come back to a 3.5 because I'm like, fam, the way you guys handled the third act, it's mad. You've lost half a point.
I got it.
But then, going back and forth with the man on the sofa, it raises up again. Do you know what I'm saying? And there's aspects also of the whole Mexican stuff they handled very well. Like, especially, I just came back from Mexico not too long ago. And there's one thing they put there as well. Not sure if you guys clocked. But when they went underwater, they were showing all the mural stuff. There was like a circle with a hole. That's how they used to play basketball. That's where the first ideas, because they used to throw the ball into that hoop. Do you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that, I was like, yes, absolutely loved it. I love what you guys did with it. You didn't miss a beat with it. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna stick with a 4.
See, I thought he was gonna go somewhere different with that, but I was gonna give it a 3.5. But I think the task they had to do and the handling of all of the Chadwick Boseman stuff, for me, I kind of can't go past. Like, I can't give it less than a 4. Do you get what I'm saying? Because I think the movie itself is a 3.5. And I think everything they do with the Chadwick stuff, even from the intro to the outro to the end credit scene, or the one end credit scene, like, thank you, man. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm here for it. It's a 4 from me, innit? So, it's looking like Black Panther Wakanda Forever is getting a big fat 4 from the Cyber Nerds. Listen, go check out the movie. Jump in the comment section below. Let us know what you think about it. What is your star rating? Who do you love? Who do you hate? Is it too Marvel-fied? Is it Black Panther enough? What do you think of Shuri as the new Black Panther? Should they have killed more characters? And what do we think of Ironheart? Comment section below. Other than that, make sure you're subscribing to the channel, hitting the thumbs up, and pressing the notification bell so you get notified every time we drop a banger. And if you want more content from the Cyber Nerds, more of this, head over to patreon.com/the Cyber Nerds, where you get more content than you're getting on YouTube. Other than that, I'm Jay, 1/3 of the Cyber Nerds.
Raven the GS.
Mr. Bitstech.
See you next time. Peace. We out.